have heard millionaire Beachbody coaches talk. I have heard Carl Deichler talk. I talked on the phone to Carl Deichler. That is the most informative thing I have ever heard. The information you got right there is going to change your business. So, thank you. Awesome. Why am I here? Why am I talking to you guys? Who am I? These are all questions that I've asked myself over and over and over again, because 2.5 years ago I was sitting in a doctor's office, and I walked into the doctor's office because I was having acid reflux, heartburn, and the nurse checked me in and said, like every nurse, right? What do they say? What's the first thing you have to do when you go to the doctor's office?
Step on the scale.
Step on the scale. It had been 2 years since I stepped on a scale. And the funny thing is, even in that moment, when I knew I was in a doctor's office, I told her what I told everybody. I'm like around 350 pounds. Why did I say I was around 350 pounds? Because that's what the scale goes up to, right? That's it. I can say, yeah, I'm like 355. And what did the nurse say to me? Actually, this scale goes up to 450 pounds. Yeah, talk about a moment, right? So now, okay, so it's easy to lie when you don't know how big the lie is, right? Now I had to find out how big that lie was, what I've been telling everybody. And step on the scale. First of all, I took everything off. I didn't want a sock to raise my weight anymore. I took everything off. Stepped on the scale. And it was reading, and then it said error. So I looked at the nurse, I was like, this is wrong, right? She's like, oh, it might be. She cleared it, got on the scale. It's perfect for her. So I let out all the air I could. I did a jumping jack, maybe get it sweat. Step back on the scale, it said error. 450-pound scale, and I didn't fit on it. I had no idea how big my lie was. And that wasn't my only lie. I was a Division I football player. You know, I was always athletic, and I'd always use that as an excuse as to why I was big. You know? Oh, and so did everybody else. You know, everybody look at me, oh, you must play football, right? And when I did play football, I could say yes. And then now, and even 2 years ago, people look at me, you must play football, right? It's like, now I'm a social worker. I mean, I don't have an excuse anymore. And there were constantly lies I was telling to myself, like I'm supposed to be this big. I'm supposed to weigh this much. My family's always been big. You know, everybody in my life, everybody in my entire family tree has been overweight. Everybody's had diabetes. Everybody's had heart disease and heart failure. That's my life. That's what I'm going to be. That was a lie I told myself. And that's how I defined myself. I defined myself as somebody who was destined for health failure. That's just where I was going. The reason that's important is because even though right now I look at that and I say that's a lie, in that moment it was true. Because that's how I defined myself. So what do I want you guys to do today? I want you to write down 2 questions. I want you to write down right now. And I don't want you to answer them right now because I want you to listen to me. 2 questions. Who am I? Who am I? Second question. What am I afraid of? These are 2 questions that all of you can write a book on. All of you. But that first question, who am I? Figure that out. Figure that out right now because that's the most important part of your Beachbody business. Why? We talked about this last time, right? What's the product? We are the product. Is Shakeology the product? No. Are workouts the product? No. Why? Because you can get them on Amazon. Right? That's not the product. What separates you? That's what's important. What separates you from Amazon, what separates your bag of Shakeology, your $130 bag of $130 bag of Shakeology from that $90 bag of Shakeology on Amazon? What separates you? And what separates you is the fact that you're not a salesman, you're a coach. You are a coach. If you were a salesman, this wouldn't be happening. It wouldn't look like this. We wouldn't have tears. We wouldn't have emotions. We wouldn't have feelings. We would have, this is how you trick people. This is how you close. This is how you get to the next person. That's what we would have. And I'm telling you right now, if you have one customer that lost 100 pounds, if you have one customer that lost 10 pounds, if you have one customer that came to you and said, you changed my life, you're successful in this business. There's not another business that you can say that. Sure, we have stars, we have Success Club, we have, like Diamond Star, and if you're a 2-star Diamond, you get to party with all the 2-star Diamonds. That's awesome, all right? That's awesome. But that's not the point. I like to say things that, when I talk to people, I like to say things that Carl would never tell you. And the reason is because I was a victim of you know what? Let me rephrase that. I chose to join a profession, a sales coaching profession, where my boss, my CEO, even tricked me into thinking that what he was doing was ethical. Come to find out, I moved all the way to Las Vegas to join this man. He moved me out there, gave me the money to do it, gave my life to him, was his number 2. We go out to an event in Dallas, and he's a sales coach. He's talking to all these salespeople, and in the back of my, I could hear in the back of my mind, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. That's what he was saying. And on our way home, this is my first job. On my way home, he calls me, and he says, Dave, we're disbanding the company. Sorry, bro, I'm moving to California. That was it. That was it. I was in Las Vegas. Guys, I grew up in Warrington. All right? And now I'm in Las Vegas. And it's me and my girlfriend, who's a chef. Thank God she's good at what she does, because I had no income. I volunteered coaching on a football team. I had nothing. I was on unemployment. And that's when I realized that I didn't want to live a life, I didn't want to work for somebody or work for a company or do anything that wasn't just 100% about helping other people and being real with people. You guys are so fortunate because you're a part of that. We all are a part of that. So when I say, make sure you know who you are and make sure you know what you're afraid of, because this stuff, what you're doing, is scary. Quitting a job, a comfortable job, to be a Beachbody coach is scary. What happens if you get sick, or maybe something doesn't work out, or what happens if you can't coach, or there's so many things that when you're at a regular job, you get all these little cushy, okay, if you're sick, you get sick days. If you're, if you're not able to work, we have this program that'll help you out. Beachbody doesn't, that's it. I mean, that's it. It's on you. Your life is on you. So know who you are. So who am I? 2.5 years ago, I was in that doctor's office, and he told me, you're going to live a life of diabetes, heart disease, and son, I don't know if I'm the first person to tell you this or not, but you may not see 30. I got in my car. I still shake when I think about it. Got in my car, I grabbed the steering wheel, and I was just shaking, and I was crying. I was trying to figure out every single excuse I could think of to why this was happening. I was trying to figure out why I was the victim in this situation. How it affected me. Like, how did all this stuff happen to me? Why is my life going this way? I was 450 pounds, 25 years old, and I wasn't going to see 30. I thought of my fiance, and the person I was going to marry. and I realized that I'm about to give my life to this person, and she's going to be a widow in 4 years. In that moment, something clicked in my head, and it made me say, you know what, Dave, shut up. All your life, you've been telling yourself and you've been telling other people that the reason that you are where you are in your life is because of other things. I want you guys right now to close your eyes and think in your head of something in your life that happened to you that sucked. Something in your life where you feel like you were the victim. Something that you feel like you had no control over. Something that you feel like changed your life. And I don't even know why I'm explaining it anymore, because I know it's in your head. It's already there. What if I told you that was your fault? There are some of you that are nodding your head. There are some of you that are saying, Dave, you have no idea what I was dealing with. That, I had no control over that. You know, I used to work with rape victims. You want to talk about having no control. But one of the most profound things I've ever been told in my life is that you have a choice. This is your movie. This is your movie. And you have a choice. Do you want to be the victim? Do you want to play a supporting role? Or do you want to be the star? Or do you want to be the hero? Not only are you the star of your own movie, but you are also the director. You control this. So anytime you say to yourself, even in that moment when you had that thing that was holding you back, that thing holding you back from your Beachbody business, that fear or that moment in your life that just keeps holding you back, and every time you think of it, tears come down your face because you always say, why me? Every time you say, why me? Understand this. In that moment, even no matter how out of control it was, there was a point in there where you made a decision, where you did something, and that's why it affects the rest of your life. The fact that it still resonates like that in your head, at one point you could have reacted to that. Now, whatever it was may have been out of control, but your reaction to it, who controls that? The director, right? You control the reaction to that. I was 450 pounds. I should have died. Should have been dead. It's my fault. It's nobody else's fault. I could blame my parents. I could blame coaches who, tried to, force me to lose weight. I ended up being a 250-pound anorexic. They actually do exist. I didn't eat when I was playing football for a long time. And there were a lot of things that I could say, that's that coach's fault. That's my parents' fault for feeding me what they did. But I don't say that. And why don't I say that? Because what I've learned is, when you look at things and you decide that you were the victim in that situation, when you look at that way, nothing changes. Because for the rest of your life, you're blaming somebody else, you're blaming something else that in most times you can't even go back to. People you can't even talk to anymore. Events you can't even relive. So what am I saying? I'm saying in those moments, no matter how they happen, no matter when they happen, take control of those moments right now. Because that's going to affect your Beachbody business. Because a lot of times those moments are driving what? Driving fear. And what is the biggest deterrent of greatness? Fear. And guess what people fear more than anything? Pursuing greatness. Because guess what the pursuit of greatness is? Really freaking hard. It's really, really freaking hard. There are so many things you have to give up to be great. There are so many things that so many walls you have to jump over to be great. And let me tell you something. If you've talked to somebody in here that you think is great, if you've seen greatness with your eyes, if you see a trait in somebody else that you believe is great, understand, and listen to this, understand that it is already yours. If you see another person with a trait that you admire, it's already inside you. Because we were not born with social traits. All of them were developed. And we may not remember when we developed our sense of humor or maybe like a work ethic thing that one of our parents gave us. My dad worked really hard, and now I work really hard. And I don't really remember when I developed that, but I know I developed it. And if you see that trait in somebody else, somebody working hard, somebody who's just dominated social media right in front of us, say, I didn't know any of that stuff, but now I do. Now I can exhibit that trait, right? And if there's somebody else who's charismatic, who's talking in front of you, like me right now, I couldn't talk like this 2 years ago, but I developed it. So if you see me and you say, you know what, I need that. You have three ways you have three things that you can do in that moment. Number one, you can envy it. You can say, yeah, he's got that. He was lucky. He was born with that. Screw him. Listen, that happens. Number two, you can stay right where you are and admire it. And you can say, you know what, that's great. I wish I had that. I can't have that though. Or number three, you can get into my mind. You can get into my circle. You can talk to me. You can give me a high five after this. You can go get my information after this. You can get into my head or anybody else's head that you know here that you really admire. And you can develop that trait. Why is that important with Beachbody? Because there are millionaire coaches that could be sitting in this room right now. Sitting in this room right now. Right now we look at, like, we saw that, girls, their picture like this and looking all pretty. And we look at those pictures and we're like, that's really cool, but I can't do that. Maybe some of you are looking at those pictures like, who's that bitch? Right? Or you can do the third one and get into their mind. I went to Summit, my first Summit last year. I've been a coach for 2 years. Went to my first Summit last year because I was invited out because I was one of the finalists for one of the Ultimate Health Transformation Awards. And I went out to Vegas. Thank you. I went out to Vegas and I met millionaire coaches. Some of you already know this answer, but I just want to throw it back out there. What do all millionaire Beachbody coaches have? They all have abs. But the other thing that they have is they have this unique, there's something unique about them. They don't run their business like everybody else. So I wanted to go out there and talk to them and get in their headspace because I know that in 5 years, I'm going to be a millionaire Beachbody coach. And so are some of you. And you're going to be higher than me, and then I'm going to be getting into your head. So, and I got in their head and I tried to figure out, what it is that makes it different. And what they all told me was, I saw people above me doing things. I saw people below me doing things. I saw people all around me at Beachbody doing things. Guys, I have 5,000 friends on Facebook. 3,000 of them are Beachbody people, right? So I have Beachbody people around me all the time, and so do they. And what they said was, we have all these people around me, but I don't do what they do. I see what they do, and I take little things, and I do what I do. I separate myself. So why is it important to know who you are? Because you have to separate yourself. You have to know that you're the product. Nobody wants a $130 bag of Shakeology. No one. If I walk up to you and I say, here's a $130 bag of powder. Well, depending on the powder, of course. There are kids in the room, all right? But if I walk up to you with a $130 bag of protein powder, what are you going to say? I get it at Walmart for 20 bucks, right? And even if they have something similar to Shakeology, like GNC has all these things that are similar to Shakeology, that's what they say, that's what they go to. So what's going to separate you? What if they say, I can get this bag of Shakeology for 80 bucks on Amazon? So what's going to separate you? And you are what separates your bag of Shakeology. Now, if you're just posting pictures of Shakeology and not doing anything with your business, then Amazon's better. Be better than Amazon. If you want to take a tip, be better than Amazon. And I'll leave you with this. So, we talked about fear and what are you afraid of? I think the biggest thing that we're afraid of is failure. And it's funny because fear and failure are two of the biggest motivators that you can have, but fear of failure is the biggest deterrent.
Can you say that again?
Fear and failure are two of the biggest motivators, in success and greatness, but fear of failure is the biggest deterrent of greatness. We fear failure, and what's failure in Beachbody? Failure in Beachbody is the word no. Would you like to try to shake out? No. P90X, nah. And when we hear no, what do we think? Are we bad? Is our product bad? Is what we're doing wrong? Who knows who Mark Cuban is? Billionaire, Shark Tank. He's the man. He's the man. Owns the Dallas Mavericks. He's the man. One of my favorite quotes from him is this. A lot of people have different reactions to the word no. When I hear the word no, I get excited. Because I know that that no is leading me closer to a yes. Why does he say that? Because he's that confident in the things that he invests in and the things that he promotes that he knows there's a yes. Be that confident in your business. So you no longer fear the word no. You're not going to fear it. In fact, when you hear it, you're going to get excited. Who here was a no at one point in their life with Beachbody? Pretty much the whole room, right? Get excited. We just filled a room with no's. My coach, it took her 6 months to get me on Shakeology. 6 months. I bought Insanity off of an infomercial. She lives in Nashville, and she came in and she was like, "You want to do Shakeology?" I'm like, "Oh, that's a scam, obviously. Get away from me." Same thing with coaching, same thing with everything else. So I want to tell you a personal no in my story, I'll end with that. And not my personal story, but me as a coach. And this gentleman, when I finished my first round of Insanity, I posted a video. Before I was a coach, posted a video on YouTube. It ended up getting like 200,000 views. It was just my results from Insanity. I lost 55 pounds in 63 days from Insanity. And so I thought, hey, that's pretty cool. Let's put that on it. And this was before I was a coach. Right? So I didn't even know that there were coaches. And so I posted this, and then I got this message back from this guy, Dwayne, who lives in Idaho. And he said to me, "Dave, I saw your results. I'm doing Insanity. Can you help me out?" And at this time, I actually was a coach. He was one of my first customers. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll help you out with Insanity. That's cool, man. You can be one of my first clients." I don't know what to call it. And so once I got on Shakeology, I realized how amazing it was. You know, I ended up losing 160 pounds in a year and a half. And on top of that, I cut a fast food addiction, and January 1st was my 2-year anniversary without fast food. Thanks to, you know, the Shakeology helping those cravings, obviously. But then I told Dwayne, I'm like, "Dwayne, dude, you got to get on this stuff." And he's like, "No." For 3 months, he said no. This guy was 50 years old. He was around 350 pounds doing Insanity. And he finally, I don't know what changed, I don't know what it was. He saw one of my pictures. He saw something I posted, and he said, "You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try Shakeology." I was like, "Fine, let's do it." And 3 months later, he sends me this video. It's a link to a video on the news. And I opened it. I'm like, "What is this?" He doesn't usually send me this stuff. And I see him getting interviewed. And I know who Dwayne is. Dwayne lost 150 pounds total. Dwayne was an Ultimate Health Transformation finalist. Dwayne, at 50 years old, changed his entire life. Now he does those Spartan races and mud races every day. I knew that. Obviously, I work with him all the time. But there was like a couple of weeks where I didn't talk to him, and then he sent me this link. And it's him getting interviewed in the airport. And I don't know what it was about. And I remember he's like, "Yeah, you know, I haven't seen my son in a while." And his son was on a Mormon mission. So his son was away for 2 years. And his son hadn't seen his father in 2 years. And when they did like Skype things, when he talked to him, he wore hooded sweatshirts, covered himself up. Didn't let his son see what he had done with himself. And Shakeology was a big part of that. Because Shakeology, in the 3 months that he was on Shakeology, he lost 60 pounds. And so he's standing at the airport, and now I know what's going on. His son's coming home. His son, he's standing at the airport, he's looking at his son, and he's so excited, and his son walked right by him. And when Dwayne said his name, he turned around, And the look on his face, the look on his son's face, reminded me why I'm a coach. Let that remind you. You guys all have a moment like that in your coaching career. And if you don't, if you're not a coach yet, you will. The look on his son's face. Dwayne, without saying a word, promised his son that he's going to be there for his kids, for his son. He's going to be there for his son's family. He's going to run circles around his grandkids. That's why I'm a coach. I'm not a coach to be a diamond coach. I'm not a coach to be a star diamond coach. I'm not a coach to go on a cruise. I'm not a coach to get Success Club points. I am a coach because I promised myself that my journey would not be a selfish one. I promised myself that. I spent a long time being selfish, but I'm not anymore. And there are lives that need to be changed. And you guys are the ones that are going to change them. Beachbody's taking over the world. Either you're on board or you're not. If you want to be a part of that change, then sitting here proves to me that you're a part of it. Proves to me that you're ready. Proves to me that you're going to change the world. So you guys ready to change the world? Yeah. Are you guys ready to change the world?
Yeah!